Good morning, grade 8. I hope you're all fine and well this morning. It's very cold here on my side. Before we're going to continue with today's lesson, let's just start by greeting each other in the chat box. Right, guys, as you can see, today's topic, remember what I've said earlier this week and the end of last week, we're going back now to the cash receipts journal, the CRJ. We're going to take that journal again, we're going to recap, and we're going to do a lot of exercises about this one. So for today, I'm going to re-explain, we're going to look at examples, and from there on, we're going to take exercises. Right, so again, it's about the CRJ, the Cash Receipts Journal. That is a journal, a book of accounting that you're going to write some entries in. So you're going to get transactions, and from the transactions, you need to complete the journal. All right, so like in the table of contents, like you see there, that's what we're going to do today. It's going to be the CRJ. And then, okay, some of the slides might look similar or that you have seen before, but I've put some new slides in as well. So first of all, what is the function of the cash receipts journal? So what type of transactions are you going to write in there? And that is about cash or money received in a business. Received in a business. CRJ, cash or money received in a business. And as I already said, with each journal, there are some source documents involved. And with the CRJ, it's going to be the receipt and the cash register roll. And we're going to use the abbreviation CRR for cash register roll. And then I've put, again, examples there for you. On the left-hand side, there's an example of a receipt. And I think it was last week when we have done the source documents, and then we looked at how you're going to complete a receipt. And there on the right-hand side, there's an example of a cash register slip, or that's coming from the cash register roll. All right, so first of all, yes, the journal that we're going to do is going to be the CRJ, the Cash Receipts Journal. What type of transactions will be written in there? It's about cash or money received, and your source documents that's going to be involved is going to be a receipt or a cash register roll, and we're going to use the abbreviation CRR for that. There's the format of the cash receipts journal. Okay, so again, you know, it is a journal. It's having different columns. We have some subheadings at the top. Now, the cash receipts journal, the subheadings is always the same. It's not going to change. So if we look at each thing, the first column is your document number column. So there you're going to enter your source document and the number involved. So either it's going to be a receipt or it's going to be a cash register roll where you're going to write CRR and then the number. Day, the day on which the transaction happened, like the 5th or the 10th. Details, you always look out for a name of a person in the transaction. If there's not a name and it is the CRJ that you're doing, then you're going to write services rendered. Then you get your amount columns. The first one is analysis of receipts. After that, bank. After that, current income. And then you get your sundry accounts. Right, and now again, because this is one of the things that you guys struggle with. This analysis of receipts and bank, how is those ones working? Okay, Analysis of receipts is like the safe of the business. So every time that there's money coming into the business, cash money coming into the business, they put that cash money in the safe, and at the end of the day, then they take it to the bank. But sometimes, like especially with a capital transaction, they might say that the amount was deposited directly in the bank. So then the amount goes directly to the bank, and then it's not going to be with analysis of receipts. Okay, so again, let me give you an example. Okay, this morning, one of you guys' mother paid school fees at the school. So the lady that is sitting at the finance office, she's taking the school fees money from your mother. She's giving your mother a receipt as proof of payment, but she's not running to the bank with the money. She put it in the safe of the school. Let's say an hour later, somebody else mom is coming to school to pay the school fees money. Same story. The lady in the finance office is taking the money. She gives your mother a receipt as proof of payment, but she's not running to the bank with the money. She puts the money in the safe of the school. And at the end of the day, then she will take all that money in the safe, and then she will take it to the bank. So every time that there is money, cash money coming into the business, it first goes to analysis before it goes to bank, unless they say that it was deposited directly in the bank account, then it will go directly to the bank. Right, then current income, always if it is a services rendered transaction, and we will look at an example like that, then you will write the amount in current income. And if it's any other transaction like a capital transaction, rent income, commission income, etc., then it will go to sundry accounts, where you're going to write the amount in, and with details you write the name of the account like rent income, capital, or whatever it was all about. Right, let's look at some examples. There are 3 transactions, and then you will see I've already entered into the CRJ there for you, so we're going to work through them. If we take the first transaction, that is on the 1st, so there's your date. The owner, Peter Smith, deposit 50,000 in the business, okay, or at the business as capital. Issue receipt number 1, okay. Before we're going to look how you're going to enter it, let's just again look at the transaction and see the information that we have. So we have the date, the 1st. We have a name of a person for details, Peter Smith. We know the amount is 50,000. What is the transaction all about? It's about capital. And we've got the source document. It's receipt number 1. Right, so now let's see how it was entered. So if we start with the first column, that is your document number column. That is your source document and the number. So it's receipt number 1. And you see we use a R for receipt. Day, on which day did the transaction happen? On the 1st. Details, you look out for a name of a person, and the name of the person is Peter Smith. The amount, 50,000 Rand. And they say it was deposited not directly in the bank, it was at the business. So then it must first go to analysis of receipts before it can go to bank. So 50,000 with analysis of receipts, 50,000 with bank. But you still need to say for what is it, what was the transaction all about. It was for capital. And again, guys, look there at the top where the subheadings is. There's not a capital column. Therefore, you take it to sundry accounts, and the amount 50,000, you say for what it is for capital. Right, next one on the 5th. According to the cash register roll, you received 5,000 Rand for services rendered. So it's a services rendered transaction. Again, let's just look at the transaction. So we've got the date, the 5th. We've got the source document. It's a cash register roll, CRR. The amount, 5,000 Rand. For what? For services rendered. Okay, now let's see how it was entered. So the first column is your document number column. Okay, we've got cash register roll there, CRR, the abbreviation you use. They didn't give us a number there, so then you also don't put a number there. Day is on which day did the transaction happen, on the 5th. Then with details, do you see, guys, there's the name of a person in the transaction? No. So what do you then do with details? You write the word services rendered. The amount, 5,000 Rand. 5,000 Rand will go to analysis of receipts. You will see it will go to bank and it will go to current income. Right. Why do you go to analysis of receipts? Because the money was received, the cash money was received at the business. So it's first going to the safe before it can go to bank. And remember what I've said, every time when you write the word services rendered with details, then it must also be in current income column. Right, so this time there's nothing with sundry accounts because you want to put it with current income and with sundry accounts, some of you guys. Right, then the next one on the 20th. The owner deposits a further 20,000 for capital in the business. The amount was paid directly into the bank account, directly into the bank account. Okay, so let's first look at the transaction. We've got the date, the 20th. The owner we have, okay, and they didn't mention the owner's name here, but remember we already got the owner's name with the first, and that is Peter Smith. The amount is 20,000 Rand. We know it's a capital transaction, and very important here is they said the amount was paid directly into the bank account. So it means the amount must go directly to bank. Okay, let's look at the entry in the CRJ. So there you guys see, it's going to be with the document number, it is going to be receipt. Number 2, remember what they do. They always give with the first transaction, the first receipt number, and you automatically need to continue with the next receipt with the next number. So on the first, it was receipt 1. Now on the 20th, it will be receipt number 2. Details, right? We know who the owner is. We've got a name, Peter Smith. 20,000 is the amount. It goes directly to the bank. So nothing with analysis of receipts. And you must say for what is it? It's a capital transaction. So that will go to sundry accounts. You write the amount 20,000 and you say for what is it? It is for capital. Okay. Now, what do I want to do? I want to compare the transaction on the 1st and the 20th with each other. Okay, so look at those two, the 1st and the 20th. On the 1st and the 20th, both are capital transactions. What is the difference except the amount? On the 1st, okay, the money was paid at the business. So therefore, the 50,000 was with analysis of receipts. What happened on the 20th? The amount was paid directly into the bank account. So the 20,000 went directly to bank, nothing with analysis of receipts. Right, let's see. There's more, another activity, some more transactions. There are 2 for 5 transactions, and I've already entered them there. But we're still going to work through them, and then I'm going to give you a few to do. So on the 1st, it is saying the owner, Jan Sharp, deposit 20,000 into the business bank account for capital. Issue receipt number 20. So again, let's look at the information. We've got the date, the 1st. We've got the name, Jan Sharp. We've got the amount, 20,000. We know it is for capital, and it's the receipt number 20. So look now at the entry in the CRJ. So in the document number, it's a receipt 20, and we use a R for receipt. The day is on the 1st. With details, the name of a person, and we've got a name, Jan Sharp. The amount, 20,000 Rand. They say 20,000 Rand was paid into the business bank account. So it was going directly to bank. So therefore, the 20,000 in bank and nothing with analysis of receipts. For what was it? It was a capital transaction, therefore it must go to sundry accounts. You write the amount 20,000 and you say it is for capital. Right, the next one on the 5th. Cash register roll. Cash register roll indicates 2,500 Rand received for services rendered. Services rendered transaction. So right, let's look. We've got the date. We know it's a cash register roll. We've got the amount and we know it's for services rendered. Right, look at the entry. So on the 5th, document number, it's going to be CRR for cash register roll. There's no name of a person in that transaction. Therefore, with details, you're going to write services rendered. 2,500 Rand is the amount. If it's services rendered, means you receive the money at the business. So it's going to the safe. It's going to analysis of receipts. It's going to bank. And because you have written there with details services rendered, it must also go to current income. So again, compare the transaction on the 1st and the 5th and see where the differences is. Okay. Next one on the 10th. Received 10,000 Rand from J. Penny for rent paid by him. Issued a receipt. So let's look at the details. We've got the date the 10th. The amount 10,000 Rand. We've got the name of a person, J. Penny. It is for rent that you receive the money. So it's a rent income transaction. And the source document is a receipt. Right. If you look in the CRJ on the 10th, then you see it's now receipt number 21. Why? Because remember, they will give you the first receipt number. You automatically need to continue with the next receipt number. Therefore, it's now receipt 21. With details, we've got the name of the person, J. Penny. 10,000 Rand will go to analysis of receipts. It will go to bank. And it's a rent income transaction. There's not a column for that at the top. Therefore, it will go to sundry accounts. And for sundry accounts, you write the amount and you say for what was the transaction all about. And that was for rent income. Then on the 20th, the owner invested a further 5,000 Rand in the business for capital. Issue a receipt. So we've got the date, the 20th. We've got, they said the owner. Now, they didn't mention here the name, but remember, on the 1st, they've told us who the owner is. That is Jan Shaw. 5,000 Rand is the amount. It's for capital. Yeah, right. I see I've missed something out there with sundry account. Sorry, that's for capital. And then it is a receipt. So on the, look at the entry on the 20th. There is receipt number 22. Remember to continue with your next receipt number. Okay. The owner, we've said already on the 1st is Jan Sharp with details. 5,000 Rand. 5,000 Rand will go to analysis of receipts and to capital. Why will it go to analysis of receipts? Because I said that it was invested in the business. So it was received, the money was received at the business. So it must go to the safe. And then with sundry accounts, you're going to write it in. As I said, sorry, I've missed the name there. With details, you need to write the capital because why? It is about a capital transaction. Then on the 25th, services rendered 2,000 Rand according to the cash register roll. So again, let's look at the information we have. So it's a services rendered transaction, 2,000 Rand. Cash register roll is your source document. So on the 25th, if you look at the entry, there you will see with document number, we've got CRR, cash register roll. There's no name of a person, therefore with details you're going to write services rendered, 2,000 Rand in analysis of receipts and in bank and in current income. Okay, right. Services rendered always goes to all three of those columns with analysis of receipts, bank and current income. And now I want you guys to take an overall scan of that CRJ that you see there in front of you. So look, every time that it is a capital transaction or a rent income transaction, okay, then it will go with sundry accounts. If it is a services rendered transaction, so look there with details. Every time where you have written services rendered, then the amount will be in current income. Then be careful with the capital one. It's normally just a capital transaction, what they will do it like that. Sometimes they will tell you the amount went directly to the bank, like on the first, then the 20,000 must go directly to the bank. Or sometimes, like on the 20th, it was invested or the money was paid at the business. So then it must go to analysis of receipts before it can go to the bank. Because analysis of receipts is like the safe of the business. So every time that you received money at the business, it first goes to the safe, it first goes to analysis of receipts before it can go to bank. Right, with the document number column, remember, basically you in the CRJ, you're just going to work with a receipt or a cash register roll. For receipt, you use a R, and for cash register roll, it's going to be CRR. Then again, you can see and compare every time when it's a services rendered transaction. So look there in details, services rendered, then it will be a cash register roll. Otherwise, for all the other transactions like capital, rent, income, etc., that will be a receipt. Right, what I have not done there yet is, people, you need to remember to add up the columns and to get the totals at the end. Okay, you don't add up analysis of receipts. Why not? Because you already have taken that totals to the bank every day. So you need to take bank, the bank column. You need to add up all those totals and get a total at the bottom. The same you do with current income. So what I mean is you need to take the 2,500 plus the 2,000 to get a total there at the bottom of current income. And the same you're going to do with sundry accounts. Right. Before we're going to continue, is there any questions that somebody maybe want to ask? I will look in the box. All right, no questions so far. Right. There is an activity saying do it yourself, and you need to go and complete the CRJ, the cash receipts journal. I've only given you 4 transactions there. We can quickly scan through the transactions. On the first, it is saying the owner is Vermeulen invested capital directly into the business bank account, 50,000, and issue a receipt number 1. On the 5th, it is services rendered according to the cash register roll number 10, 5,000 Rand. On the 8th, it is rent received from J. Klein for 10,000 Rand and issue a receipt. On the 12th, invested a further capital of 20,000 at the business by the owner and issue a receipt. And then I've given you the columns there. And so what I want you guys to do is on a piece of paper, you draw yourself the columns there. You cannot, because some of you guys do like the first 4 columns on one page and then the other 3 columns on another page. No, people, it's not working like that. Then you have to turn your page so all the columns must be in line with each other. So you're going to draw up the columns now, put the subheadings at the top as you see there in front of you, and then you're going to start and you're going to continue those 4 transactions into the CRJ. Let me just see. Okay, Natalie was just asking, ma'am, is that your name there? Yes, so I'm investing in our business. Okay, so I've invested there on the transaction on the first, the 50,000 Rand. Okay, so right. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to do this, right? And then we will talk through it again. So draw yourself the columns. As I said, people, you cannot do it on 3, 4 different pages. It must be in line with each other because that is the way I received it last time from some of you guys. And then there's the subheadings and then you take those transactions and you write it in. I also want you, when you are done with those 4 transactions, you need to add up and get the totals for me of the different columns. So right, there your few minutes is going to start now. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I just want to say, please no, don't sit there doing nothing, because that is why at the end of the day, if you not practice it, that is the reason why you cannot do it. So please remember, it's only you that's going to see it, but at least then you can see it for yourself if you're doing it correctly or not. Okay, and if you um, need to know what's going on, or do you understand or don't understand. So please don't just sit there. Have your pen and your paper always ready with EMS, and then you just continue to complete the CRJ. Okay, there's a question. Somebody's asking, do we need a journal to write down the CPJ and the CRJ? Okay, we just working for today. We're just working with the CRJ, okay, not the CPJ yet. So what you can do is you can just use normal A4 paper, okay, and then you just draw yourself the columns. So if you don't have that strange books with the strange papers in for accounting, it's fine. You can use normal paper, but then you just maybe have a ruler, and then you can just draw up the columns by yourself with those subheadings that you see there in front of you. If you guys are finished, you can just indicate done for me, as Natalie have just done. Thank you, Natalie, because then I can get an idea plus minus when everyone is done. Right, people, it looks like if most of you are done. Okay, so we're going to work through it. I'm not going to put answers on there now. I'm going to test also now your hearing skills. So you guys need to listen now. So I'm going to tell you the answers, all right, as we're going to talk through the transaction as well. And then you need to check on your piece of paper to see if you have done it correctly or not. Okay, so you need to listen. So if we take the first transaction that is on the first, it is saying the owner is Vermeulen invested capital directly into the business bank account, 50,000 Rand, and issue a receipt 1. So right, so in your document number column, it must be receipt 1 or 1. Day is the first. Details, remember to look out for a name of a person. So it's S. Vermeulen. The amount is going to be 50,000 Rand. 50,000 Rand was paid directly into bank. So nothing with analysis of receipts, 50,000 in bank and 50,000 in sundry accounts. And you say it is for capital. Right, on the 5th. Services rendered according to the cash register roll number 10, 5,000 Rand. So your document number is going to be cash register roll number 10, CRR, the abbreviation 10, on the 5th. With details, there's no name. So what do you do then? You write the word services rendered. The amount is 5,000 Rand. 5,000 Rand will go to analysis of receipts, to bank, and to current income. Okay, 5,000 Rand in analysis of receipts, in bank, and in current income. On the 8th, rent received from J. Klein for 10,000 Rand and issue a receipt. So in your document number column, it is going to be now receipt 2 are 2. Why 2? Because remember they've given you on the first receipt number, so you need to continue now. Day will be the 8th. Details, we've got a name, J. Klein. The amount 10,000 Rand will go to analysis of receipts, to bank, and to sundry accounts. So 10,000 Rand in analysis of receipts, in bank, and with sundry accounts, and it is for rent income. So you write the rent income. And remember, I've said it before, you cannot just write the rent. They will mark it wrong because that's not the correct name of the account. The correct name is rent income. Then under 12, invested a further capital of 20,000 at the business by the owner and issued a receipt. So your document will be now receipt number 3 or 3 on the 12th. With details, we know who the owner is, okay, from the first. So you can write the S. Vermeulen with details. 20,000 Rand will go to analysis of receipts because it was paid at the business. So now it will go to analysis of receipts, 20,000, and bank and sundry accounts. And you say it is for capital. So 20,000 Rand in analysis of receipts and in bank and for sundry accounts, and you say it is for capital. Right. What I'm not going to do, but you guys should know it to do it by now. Remember to add up the columns. So you're going to add up bank, get a total at the bottom, add up current income, get a total at the bottom, and the same you do with sundry accounts, the amount column, add it up and get a total at the bottom. Right, I'm looking for if there's any questions in the box. Right, if there's no questions, people, then I just want to remind you, okay, as I just want to say, I'm going to remind you, somebody is saying, when is the test due? Remember of that assessment test that you guys need to do today. They did let me know this morning, everything is fine and perfectly. So you can just go and lock it in, everything is set up there, then you can go and continue it and send it off. Remember to press the submit button. And then, as I said, then I will get it from the school side, and as well, we're going to work through it as well tomorrow. But you can only get marks if it was sent off in time. So you have up till tonight to send it off. All right. Any more questions? There are basically, somebody's asking how many questions are there. There are 3 questions, but meaning there's like a question 1, and then there are a few questions under question 1, and the same with question 2, and the same with question 3. So yeah, so let's say, for instance, with question 3, under question 3, there will be, let's say, 4 or 5 questions. So it will be like a 3.1, 3.2, and so on. Right. Okay, people, then we are done for today. Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoy the test, and then we will talk tomorrow again. Have a wonderful day. Remember the test. Goodbye.